Good day, ma'am. I am going to report now the chapter 1 of the subject, Legal Aspects in Tourism and Hospitality. But before digging in, let's have a brief introduction of the topic. Ignorantia juris non excusat. Ignorance of the law excuses no one. Without law, our world would be very unstable, with anarchy in our streets, and peace would be difficult to achieve. The phrase ignorantia juris non excusat underscores that ignorance of the law is not a valid excuse. It reflects the importance of law in maintaining order and preventing chaos, emphasizing that without legal foundations, societal stability and peace would be challenging to attain. This principle originates from Roman law and highlights the crucial role of legal systems in shaping a well-ordered society. And we have our learning objectives. First is to identify the different kinds of laws relevant to the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. Second, explain the concepts of tourism law. Third, enumerate important sources of tourism law. And last is to give examples of applications of tourism law. So let's start with the question, what is law? In its general and abstract sense, law is the science of moral laws founded on the rational nature of man that governs his free activity for the realization of the individual and social ends of life under an aspects of mutual conditional dependence. In its specific and concrete sense, it is defined as the rule of conduct, just and obligatory, promulgated by legitimate authority and of common observance and benefits. In a broad sense, law is the study of moral principles derived from human rationality, guiding free actions toward individual and social goals with mutual interdependence. In a specific sense, it is just an obligatory rule of conduct, publicly proclaimed by legitimate authority and intended for common adherence and benefit. This dual definition encapsulates the moral and practical aspects of law, encompassing both its philosophical foundations and practical applications in society. Then we have here the kinds of law. For our purposes, the different kinds of law are classified as follows: as to purpose, and the other one is the as to scope. Let's begin with the as to purpose. We have two, the substantive law and the adjective law. Substantive law is a law which creates, defines, and regulates rights, or which regulates the rights and duties which give rise to a cause of action. While adjective law is a law which provides the method of aiding and protecting certain rights. And as to scope, has two also, the general or public law, or the special or private law. General or public law is a law which applies to all of the people of the state or to all of a particular class of persons in the state with equal force and obligations. General law has three examples: the criminal law, the international law, and the political law. Criminal law is a law dealing with crimes and their punishments as well as the procedure for that purpose. While international law is a body of rules or principles of action governing the relations between states. And lastly, the political law. It is a law regulating the relations sustained by the inhabitants of a territory to the sovereign. Then we have the special or private law. It is a law which relates to particular persons or things of a class. It has three examples: the civil law, the maritime law, and the mercantile law. Civil law is the mass of precepts which determines and regulates those relations of assistance, authority, and obedience existing among members of a family, and those which exist among members of a society for the protection of private interest. While maritime law is the law dealing with commerce by the sea, involving regulation of ships, harbors, and the status of seamen. And lastly, the mercantile law is the law of commercial transactions derived from the law of merchant, which includes commercial paper, insurance, and other types of agency. And next, in the concepts of tourism law, tourism is defined as the custom or practice of traveling for pleasure, as well as the promotion by establishment of countries to attract tourists. The World Tourism Organization defines tourism as the activities of persons traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, and other purposes. Tourism law may be defined as a body of rules or principles of action which deals with the regulations, authority, relations, and obedience among members of a society involved in tourist travel and accommodation. It includes persons traveling from place to place for pleasure and business establishments or persons engaged in the occupation of providing various services for tourists. Tourism law encompasses rules and principles governing the regulation, authority, relationships, and compliance among individuals engaged in tourist travel and accommodation. It addresses both tourist and business offering services to them. As defined by the World Tourism Organization, tourism involves activities where individuals travel and stay outside their usual environment for up to one consecutive year, encompassing leisure, business, and other purposes. This legal framework is essential for maintaining order and protecting the interests of both travelers and service providers in the dynamic field of tourism. So, what is the importance and application of tourism law? In today, society has evolved wherein business establishments engaged in tourism have been in the food service, hotel service, transportation service, travel and tour operations, events management, and even medical tourism, among others, all for the interest of gratification, happiness, amusement, and entertainment of people traveling from place to place. E-commerce has now been considered a way of necessity to do business in tourism. The sources of law relevant to the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry are: first is the Philippine Constitution. It is a fundamental law of the land to which all other laws must conform. Next is the statutes or legislative enactments. It is the written will of the legislative department rendered authentic by certain prescribed forms and solemnities prescribing rules of actions or civil conduct with respect to persons, things, or both. Examples are the Dangerous Drugs Act, Public Service Act, Civil Code of the Philippines, Labor Code of the Philippines, Revised Penal Code, Seatbelt Law, and the local government ordinances. Next is the administrative or executive orders, regulations, and rulings. These are issued by administrative officials under legislative authority. Examples of these are the rules and regulations promulgated by the Secretary of Tourism to govern the accreditation of hotels, tourist inns, motels, apartels, pension houses, and other accommodations establishments. And the BIR circulars and rulings, then the administrative issuances by the Department of Foreign Affairs, And last is the omnibus rules implementing the labor code of the Philippines. Then we have the judicial decisions or jurisprudence. These refer to the decisions of the Supreme Court in interpreting the laws or the Constitution. And next is the custom. It is a role of conduct which in a given place and among given groups of people has been followed for an appreciable time. And last is the other sources. These refer to the decisions of foreign tribunals and opinions of textbook writers. So that's all for the chapter 1. I hope you learned from my report. Thank you for listening.